Hey guys, please let me know if you could hear me okay, as always. Because last week we did not have sound. I made sure this time that the microphone was didn't switch back. At least I hope not. Yay! Awesome. Okay. Whew. That makes one less thing that is complicated today. Sweet. All right. Well, you know what? Today I'm gonna draw an ink while I'm standing instead. I haven't done that in a while, and I'm actually trying to be better at that because I have a standing desk. And the thing about having long deadlines, which almost feels like almost a year now, is a lot of things go when I shouldn't have. And there's just like things that pile up and pile up and pile up, and finally you have to put your foot down and go, okay, I can't just let my life kind of run away with everything. So I'm slowly starting to get back into working out, sleeping a little bit better, eating a little bit better. But man, there's like a few weeks where it just felt like, you had so much going on that, and things would kind of come up, and it sometimes wouldn't have anything to do with work. So it's like, so here we are, trying to be a better version of myself. So, all right, well, I'm going to start warming up, and I'm going to read all of the comments that I missed because I was like 5 minutes late today. So I will definitely stay as late as I can today until Bear decides he wants to be a little brat, because that's exactly what he did this morning, or right before I started. He's like, I want to play. And then I was curling my hair, and he heard like the squeaking sound from my curling iron, and he thought it was a squeaky toy, so he went crazy and he started howling. I'm like, whoa. And I finally figured out it was my curling iron, so my bad. Anyways, oh, choke this slipped away. Aw. Well, it's funny, you guys, since I'm doing the darkness and the Witchblade, and they're kind of like a pair, I think it's cool that you guys both are going to share in that. So I don't know if I could stand for a long time just because my camera's not tall enough, but it's okay. My head can be cut off. You guys don't care. Let me go get some more water. I'll be right back. Alrighty, so let me say hi to you guys. Thank you for being on time, unlike myself, and early actually. So JD, Stefan, Nighthawk Warrior Comics, what's up? Ricketts, what's up? Doodly Don, Richard Willis, Fran, and who else we have? Mr. Docs, hello. Hello, Mark Smith. And I thought I saw Brett Eon Trez. What's up? By the way, thank you so much for your awesome paper that I've been using for forever and a day. And I actually found one of the old pages that I did with Eon boards, and I'm actually going to include that in the back of the book. So thank you so much, Brett, for creating such an awesome source for us artists. So, all right, let's get warmed up. I'm just gonna, ink an area that I'm not too concerned about. Like, I won't mess it up like her face or something. And to keep it pretty consistent, like the darkness, I'm gonna use a nib for at least half of it, maybe a little over half. So my lines aren't super tight in some areas, but I think you know how it is. Just kind of improvise a little bit. Thank you so much, Tone War. Misunderstood Ninja, love that. I misunderstood Ninja. That's awesome. I have a ninja in my comic book. Her name is Aya. Speaking of my comic book, we had to send a few more tweaks to the letterist Josh to fix, because when Frank and I made the instructions, we weren't super clear on a certain, a few pages that was consecutive, and so I had to go in there and specify what we wanted to fix. But I anticipate that this coming week the book will be the digital download will happen. So I'm gonna, as soon as that happens though, I will make a live stream for us to kind of celebrate the release. So this last week has flown by so quickly that I can't believe it's Sunday and it's gonna be Monday again. So that's what happens. Yes, that's why I like the Witchblade, because I think it reminds me a lot of like I wouldn't say Poison Ivy, but Swamp Thing in a way. So we're moving right on along, and that's what's nice about nibs, I must say, is like you just pick up the nib or the fountain, I guess nib, and then start inking right away. Whereas with brushes, you kind of have to dip the brush in, wipe some of the excess paint off, and then you could start inking. So what am I using? So Phantom, this is actually a really popular Japanese brand for manga. It is the Tachikawa nib, fountain, what's it? Nib holder, and I forgot what nib this is. It's like a G pen. I think it's a G pen nib, and I bought a few of these online. I think it was on jetpens.com, and fairly easy to find online. And Japanese stationery stores like Kinokuniya bookstore, which have multiple locations in the States. So anyways, I feel pretty warmed up. Let me see if this is dry yet. So there's some areas like right here that like aren't dry yet. So the thing about nibs, and I'm sure you guys who ink with nibs know this, because the ink stays on top of the paper sometimes, I can't do what I do with brushes where I could just kind of ink right over it really quickly. So I have to wait for it to dry. So technically what I should have done was ink from top to bottom. But since I'm didn't plan it, I didn't do it right. So I'm gonna skip around a little bit if I can. And plus I didn't finish the armor right here, as you guys can see. I didn't plan that yet. I was gonna do research on her armor, but I never got around to it. So even though I plan like these live streams, sometimes I work up until the last second, and there's a lot of prep work that has to go into it that I don't actually get to get the drawings ready, I guess. Yes, there we go. A little bit of a fountain pen not fountain pen, sorry, nib ASMR. Okay, so Brett asked, or Eon Prez asked, the Witchblade armor follow a set design, or is it organic and it's just whatever the artist feels like drawing as long as it follows original basic design? It's the latter, Eon Prez. So there's sometimes, as long as the artist who's drawing it is consistent from panel to panel while she has the armor, like in a sequence. So she'll have like arm pads, or she's covered from the side a lot of times. The newer one I feel like has more of a set kind of armor design that they have, where it's kind of like a bodysuit and it's like gold. That looked a lot more specific, but every time she's using the armor or the Witchblade itself, where it just reaches out like thorns almost, then that kind of changes a little bit. It's like it acts a lot like how Spawn's cape is sort of, and Doctor Strange or some of those characters, and Venom, where it kind of shape shifts a little bit. What ink am I using to dip? It's I'll show you the other version because the other bottle is open. So this is the liter black ink 3 and 4. I think one's a little bit more fluid and the other one might be Sumi ink, so I'm not quite sure because it's written, it's really in tiny letters and it's Japanese, so I can't remember. Oops, this is dry. Oh, that was a great question though. I mean, I would ask the same question if I saw her armor and it's slightly different every time, so. Misunderstood ninja. Thank you. That's awesome for bringing that up. That's exactly, precisely how I would describe it, I guess. Let's see. The Kiritake brush pen, misunderstood ninja. I do have the Kiritake brush pen, but I think, well, first off, my bristles or the tip is a little damaged right now from me experimenting with different inks. Some ink dried so fast that it, damaged the my Kiritake brushes. So right now I'm just, using a regular brush and ink, where it's not like super expensive if I damaged it. So, I mean, I was trying to decide if I was going to ink her hair with a nib or with a brush. Honestly, I should probably switch to the brush for the hair in some areas because to drag a really long curvy line with a nib might make it kind of stiff. So, just take like her hair. In fact, I could probably do the hair right now, kind of frame everything. That would be probably ideal. So let me go ahead and use the Kiritake Menzo brush, my favorite brush. It's kind of like ink stuck to it because I didn't clean it off that well, and I have like 3 of them, so. Okay, she's going upside down now. See, this ink, it's pretty, it's not as thick, it's a little bit more fluid. So I have to be careful how much ink is on the brush because I don't want it to be too runny. So that's a good test right there. I'm thinking about like framing her face first before I start inking the rest of her hair. So when I'm using a brush for this, the ink looks a little different. So I'm gonna try the Deleter Black Ink 3 and see how I like that. Just we're experimenting. So I'm gonna smell it to see if it's Sumi ink because I don't remember. Oh, yeah, I think that's Sumi ink. Okay, let's see if there's a difference in the way the ink looks. Oh. Okay, I'm gonna wait for it to dry and then I'm gonna put more water to see if it's Sumi ink. Because if it is, I can't use it. I don't want it to be runny. I know, I do too. I'm thinking I could just I'll use the brush sparingly, so maybe not right now, but I'll use it later. We're gonna have to just kind of go with the flow. No pun intended. I'm just gonna use my nib for now. I'm having fun and it's good practice for me because I don't use nibs that often. So let's get after it. No fears. We're about being brave here. No mistakes, just happy little mistakes. I like how the nib sounds too, so. And you get all this fine detail in the hair. Oh, we're just gonna go all out. Because I don't often get to draw Witchblade, so. Camera died. I could hear you hear Bear. Oh no, please, dear God. Stay quiet. John's not here today, so I have this feisty little dog right now by himself. He thinks I'm talking to somebody, probably. Oh, well, you guys get the idea. Let's get to the face just in case. In case I have to stop or take a break because of him. I ran out of treats. That's the thing. I don't have anything to bribe him with right now. So he's gonna be a puppy. You know, I used to think inking with nibs was going to take longer, but I stand corrected. I feel like, because it's so precise, I'm moving along pretty quickly, especially because I did that with Jackie or the Darkness, and I feel like it works pretty well in terms of speed. And so with Eon boards, when I'm doing comics, they have different consistencies, or smoothness and roughness. Like some have more teeth. There's more teeth and texture, so it absorbs ink a little differently than one that's a smooth board. So I haven't experimented with a nib in a long time, but I'm sure Brett could tell you that there's plenty of pencilers and inkers who use specific ones that are good for inking with nibs. Like I think Jonathan Glapion uses Eon boards too. So by the way, he's one of my favorite inkers too, and Scott as well. I'm all about Bob Ross, David, as you guys know from Halloween. See here. Yeah, I mean, if I'm going to start inking with nibs, I might just experiment with all of the paper too to see which one I prefer. If I had it my way, honestly, the paper I ink and pencil with would be kind of like copy paper or printing paper, except thicker, which is like a Bristol in my opinion. It's like slightly smooth but not too smooth, and that's what I am used to using, but we'll see. This is just a regular old Bristol board, I think. I think it's Canson or something like that. I don't want to rush inking her face too much because I could easily mess it up. I don't know why he's so frustrated today. We fed him, we took him out on a walk. He's already gone to the bathroom. I think he wants someone to play with. Ooh. Can you guys hear him in the background? Bear is tearing something up in his crib or his playpen. I'm gonna probably, next time I do any pencil work that's tight, I'll just upload it to the Discord and I'll let you guys know in advance if you want to just kind of experiment with it a little bit more. Or even if you want to practice coloring, I could also upload some of my inks as well. It's good practice. What's nice about nibs like this, like the fine nibs, is the amount of texture and texture you could get out of it. Thanks so much, Richard. Oh, you're welcome. It's the least I could do. I mean, you guys are super supportive of my work, so it's the easiest thing to give back to, like pay it forward, make sure that the future generation of artists exists, and it doesn't just end with my generation. So Dome, I just call you Dome, sorry. The Discord link is actually in the video description. Towards the bottom of the video description, there should be a Discord link that you could click on. And it doesn't expire, so it should be good still. Okay, no more procrastinating. Let's get to the armor, up except for the shoulder armor. So today I was trying to, or this past few days, I've been trying to pencil without using my carpenter pencil, because I'm like, it's not technically supposed to be used for drawing comics and layouts, but it works so well So I was trying to use a different pencil, and I just reverted back to my Carpenter pencil because it's so awesome. Just, you know, gets my big broad shapes, gets me there quicker. My layouts and stuff. So thank you so much for the super chat, Blazian one. Really appreciate it. I'm just gonna go for it. I'm not gonna overthink it today. I'm just gonna go for the blade right now. I wish I had a thicker nib, but I only have like one, and the older ones that I have kind of rusted, so they're no longer good. Because I haven't inked with the nib in so long. Thank you so much, JD. I can hear my dog going. Row, row, row. He hates it when I make fun of him, though. Oh my god, dude, just go to bed. I would keep him in my office right now, but he's not trained enough just not to get to my wires and my art supplies, and I haven't puppy-proofed my office yet, so maybe in a few weeks when I have more time. Yeah, I like Razor X Sketch. I love my 2mm as well, but I don't know. I mean, I'm super picky about how pencil and lead feels on the paper in my hand. That doesn't always work, but I try to. I have the blue, the Stadler ones that everybody has, but I like this one right here because it's weighted a lot more. It's a it says it's like a Pacific Arc High or H1309. I got it off of Amazon, but it's weighted. It's like metal or something, Yeah, JD. I'm thinking that's what he's saying. Play with me. Bear, cut it out. Be a good boy. As soon as I say that, he's gonna go crazy. I think for the next volume of Neo Wonderland, I'm probably going to use more nibs if I'm being honest. And it brings out the manga-ness of it even more than what it is right now. I'm actually practicing my style. I'm trying to hone it in right now and make sure that it looks consistent and, I've established the look I'm going for after a ton of years just trying to figure it out. So, as always, we always try to make the next volume or next project that we work on the best, I didn't do it just so it could look just like everything else I used to do. So hopefully I can utilize my newfound confidence in the style that I'm going for. I haven't practiced in a long time. I think I told you guys that. I don't really sketchbook anymore, but I realize like how important it is just to warm up every day. Thank you so much, Brett A. Wood. Just gonna drag this line, make it thick. Yeah, look at that. I was getting all fancy with my art supplies. All I needed was ink and a nib. And my life would have been 1,000 times easier. Why reinvent the wheel, right? That's how everybody else was doing it for a long time. I misunderstood my favorite current art book. Well, not to brown nose or anything, JD, who sent me a copy of the Amano art book last week, but that's the one right now. I mean, I haven't even finished looking through the whole thing. I want to read it too. It's so amazing. Because I'm trying to be more fluid with my stuff too. Fluid and then very precise at the same time. I don't know if you know what that means. Like fluidity in my line, pencil work and the flow of things, even though I could ink with a nib and it would look precise still. So the flowiness of my pieces, I want it to be a lot more like that. Man, it's so satisfying to do to ink the Witchblade, the blade itself. Sheldon, that's so cute. Oh, yeah, he probably thinks that, or he thinks that I'm talking to someone who's like, hey, you're not going to introduce me to the person you're talking to, because he's such a social butterfly, or I guess dog. You know what, Michael White? If I sneezed and I actually had ink in my in my mouth or in my nose, that would look like paint splatter, and it would look pretty cool, right? Is that what you're saying? Yes, Razor X Sketch. It doesn't have to be perfect; just has to get done. And it's like incremental improvements is what I notice. It's like sometimes it doesn't happen right away, and I'm also impatient to try to get my style where I want it to be. And I realize like it takes a few days of just concentrated like adjustments and being thoughtful, and then after a while it becomes kind of second nature. But right now I'm still kind of playing around with things, because this was like a project that I wanted to kind of put everything I have into the art and the story and stuff like that. So I think I put a lot of pressure on myself. I could get lost in the details of the Witchblade. I can see why this book was so successful back in the day. All the detail, the interesting story, you know, amazing art. Yeah, I understand the whole perfectionism thing. I don't think I was ever that artist because I knew like if you just couldn't draw fast enough for comic books, you wouldn't make it. So I always tried to time myself because I remembered learning from David Wool. It's like you want to try to hit like a page a day, and at first when you do it, it's like you're not very good at it, and your art doesn't look all that great. But then after a while, you get kind of used to knowing where to put the detail, and you kind of practice on the side as well, trying to improve how to draw certain things. But yeah, the page a day thing, even though it's hard for a lot of people nowadays, it's a good standard to try to, to meet. And then you kind of find your way around. So that's how I do it. And it's kind of an estimate because if you're jumping around like I do in my book, you kind of know if you didn't jump around, how long it would take for you to work on a page. So I screwed up. Supposed to go the other way. We'll fix that later. Her prongs or the underneath is supposed to go this way. But I made it go the wrong way. I'll fix it with white out later. I wonder if he fell asleep. He's all quiet now. I shouldn't jinx myself. I know JD is pretty sweet. He, I think he helped change the standard, at least for my generation, on how detailed a book could be, and getting it out, often. So you get really good at putting detail into the panels themselves. And everybody that came out during that time was really good at that. So. I'll come back and do shadows here because I don't want it to be all just line art. I want some darks. So that's what's good about having a brush is to go in there and where the shadows are. Let me grab some water, you guys. Fell asleep. Oh, I have to jump off and come back and finish watching later. Awesome. All right, Brett. Thank you for stopping by. It was nice seeing you. Have a good rest of your Sunday. What did I miss? What do I have behind me on the wall? It's just the Neil Wonderland, like Gleeky print, of issue number 1 cover. Oopsies. Oh, Razor X Sketch, that's awesome. Thanks for hanging out, you guys. Even though you guys have a lot going on right now. Do I want to detail this now or just move on a little bit? I could just move on, I think. Get more of the armor done on her body and her hair. So. And that's also because I want these parts to dry right here. So let's do the hair. I need more art on the wall for sure, but I am super duper picky, and I cannot find my portfolio with the Mark Silvestri, Michael Turner, Sean Murphy. Who else had? There's a few pieces of art. I think it's at my dad's house. I could not find it, original art. So I need to figure out where that's at, because if I put anything on my wall, it would be all the original artwork I got from my colleagues and friends. And Vince was nice enough to gift me years ago when I first started out the Mark Silvestri Wolverine page, one of them, and it had the word balloons and notes on it, you know, like glued on there. It was freaking awesome. Like, that's the kind of stuff I love. I prefer interior pages if I collect than pinups. So, and I have the Kenneth Rockford Lola XOXO cover he did that I was great. I mean, he was gracious enough to tell somebody about it, or a fan was like, oh, we could just give it to Sia. I mean, that's the most amazing gift ever. So that's what I put on my wall. So I gotta find that, and it's kind of scary that I have all that art in one portfolio and it's missing because I moved around so much. My dad's house has a garage full of all the books my comic books, my action figures, my original art. I haven't had the time to visit, so when I get around to it, my walls will have stuff in the back. Oh, and I think I have a Joe Benitez piece too. I think I joked, but I'm actually partially serious. The only reason why I really wanted to become a comic book artist was so I could get comic book art from my favorite artists. Half joking. Art trade, yeah, that's what you call it. Sorry, Michael Richardson. Yeah, sometimes I do Saturday, sometimes I do Sunday. I was gonna do, maybe I was gonna stream yesterday on Saturday because we were probably gonna go camping, but we ended up not doing it. The thunderstorm was crazy yesterday. We wanted to take Bear out to kind of get used to being outdoors, but yeah, didn't work out. And not a bad thing because there's plenty to do, but I was just going to bring my work, but it was rainy, so. But as soon as the digital version is ready for Neo Wonderland, as soon as I get the okay from Frank, like, okay, everything looks good, because he's very thoughtful and thorough, and I would hate to ignore any of his edits, so. But I think we got a huge chunk of it yesterday. I didn't see anything else that needed to be fixed. And then it doesn't matter what day it is, I'm just gonna do the live stream. So maybe do it a couple times. So we'll do one on the weekend or something as well. That way, if you guys have any questions, comments, I could get, you know, instant feedback from you guys about the book. Michael, that's funny. You guys have some amazing artists in Italy, so much closer, right? Some of the best in Spain. Oops, my camera died again. Chrome V, thank you so much for the super chat. I'm thinking, yes, I will scan these because I already scanned the pencils. Scan these and I could sell like a limited print if you guys want that, because they're a pair. Hey Vince, when did you show up? I just saw you. Hello. So if I could be very transparent with you guys, but then again, if I say it out loud, is that like, I don't think I'm manifesting it as much as it's like, well, now you're gonna have to do it. I have a goal for my, sounds like I said goal for, I have a goal for my comic book, you know, this part of my comic book career where I'm gonna try to get the books to do, you know, to get them out fast enough where I have like a trade paperback, and I'm gonna try to hit like a certain amount of issues per year so I could get them into bookstores and stuff, because that's been my lifelong dream of seeing the spine of my books consecutively, like a manga or multiple volumes, kind of like The Walking Dead. So that's my goal. I was telling Eric Kennedy about it months ago, and that's his goal too, and we're like, let's do it. That gets you to focus only on the things that matter in terms of, you know, my work, and not all the other things, you know. I think I can do it. I don't know. I haven't done it yet. I'm gonna try. I mean, it's before I die. That's the one thing I want. So I'm putting it out there for you guys to know. Hold me to it. Hold my foot to the fire. You know, it's like I spend so much time drawing. You might as well reach for that goal. And I'm not gonna be able to start over with a new career, you know, at my age and spending so much time doing this. Because sometimes, you know, when it's really hard, you're like, is there anything else I could do with my time and for work? But it's just, I spent too much of my life trying to achieve this goal that it would be a shame not to like push it all the way. So because I love physical media, so I'm not ever gonna decide that I don't want my stuff in bookstores, you know, and comic shops and stuff. It's like, you know, all the movies that have recently come out that are doing so well, like the Odyssey and Spider-Man and, you know, stuff like that. It's like, I don't think theater is dead as much as we just need the right things out there. I just want to be a part of that. The human experience and using art as a conduit. I could ink her hair all day long, you guys. This is so fun. It's good practice too. Dragging the nib. I somehow think everybody likes the inking live streams the most, and probably my pre-recorded videos. Michael White, yeah, literally has zero soul. And even when it aggregates and tries to get information online, it still doesn't do it well because someone had to program it to, you know what to look for. Michael, I could barely train him to do things that normal dogs do, let alone anything more than that. He's a little, He's a little puppy and he's spoiled. Stefan, thank you so much. In fact, I'm gonna put this out there also because I hate it when this kind of stuff happens. It's it's not good. I had one person say that they commissioned me to do something a while ago and never got it. And sometimes when I'm at conventions, some of you guys have seen me at conventions where I'll write on a piece of paper what you guys want and maybe your email or something just in case. But some people don't put their email down; they put their phone number or address, and after a while, you can't get a hold of the person. So I tried to get a hold of the person who has that sketch cover and never heard back. So if you know anybody who had like an outstanding commission pre-2018, I would like them to reach out to me. So it's on my website, the commission tab, but some people don't see it, and I guess not everybody's going to see that. And sometimes I'll say it on Facebook and Instagram, and some people don't follow me there either, so it's hard to get a hold of some people. But if there's anybody with outstanding commissions, which there wasn't a whole lot, please let me know. Tatiana and I try really hard to get a hold of everybody. And if we had anything outstanding that we're aware of, we're not going to open up the commission list. So, Reckets, we have a new trainer coming, I think next week for the dog, because we had one test, test trainer come when he was really young, but we wanted to wait to see if we needed a trainer. So he clearly needs one, because when you live in the city, there's dogs and people everywhere. You have to have a well-behaved dog. Like every time he gets into the elevator, he goes crazy. He loves people, but I don't know what his deal is, but he starts barking like crazy. Fighting Toads. Why does that sound like Battle Toads? Do you remember that game? JD, it's funny because I mentioned it to her, and since she's busy, sometimes she'll do something and then she'll tell me afterwards because she's so busy, and then I'll find out a little bit later, like, oh, okay. But I'm going to try to get through them pretty quickly, you guys. In fact, every live stream I do from this point on might be just to draw the commissions, you know what I mean? Because they're all characters you guys are going to want to see anyways, and unless I have something interesting to show you from my comic book, like some new stuff, just for fun, like maybe inking or coloring again, then I'll just stick with doing the commissions. That way we kill 3 birds with 1 stone. And then I could open it up again. So. Double Dragon was so sweet. So I somehow was recommended, well, I mean, I'm not surprised, but it was it was showing the artist for Street Fighter, and I think the title was how was Chun-Li created, and it showed like Final Fight. It showed like definitely showed Double. No, I don't think it was Double Dragon. It was Capcom games. So Street Fighter, Final Fight, and a few other games. I forgot what one of them was. It was like it's like a science fiction game. He's got blonde hair and a blue outfit. I can't remember what it's called, but yeah, I had the Sega Genesis, or my brother did, and so my older brother would always ask what games we wanted to play because he'd be too busy to figure anything out besides maybe like the arcade games. And so we'd always recommend these games, you know, like my favorite one was I think it was called Super Airbuster or something like that, or Airbusters, and it was an airplane fighter jet side scroller. It was 2 players. It was fun as heck, and I loved Gradius. So. Yeah, JD, you know that's what I thought about. I forgot, you know, like when I started to do the video of me drawing the commissions, I'm like, you know, this is actually kind of cool. Like, we wouldn't have that back in the day. And now that we have the technology and the ability to do it, it'd be kind of cool to see the creation of like a commission or something that later on you guys would own, like a one of the pages and stuff. It's proof that I actually drew the piece instead of AI, right, guys? It's not like you get a commission and it's like, oh, this is so perfect it looks like it's AI. But you know, I have proof that I'm drawing it, at least for now, until in the future where AI could copy someone and you never meet them in person, but they're live streaming, but it's just a bot or something crazy. Anyways. I'm trying to remember what's on my list of characters I'm drawing. I think, okay, for sure one of them is like Sexy Cyclops from X-Men. And I think one was Poison Ivy. She's popular. And Tomb Raider was another one. With a detailed background like the jungle and stuff. So that's going to be fun. Michael White, yes, I will be selling pages. And thank you so much, Black Tigress. Appreciate it. This is a lot of fun. I appreciate you guys being here to watch me ink hair. She's got that hair. I'm thinking of the Pantene Pro V, like a Thor meme that came out a long time ago where he was using Pantene Pro V for his beautiful, lovely locks. This is really fun. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I kind of regret not using nibs more. Because for some reason I felt like it was a lot of work back in the day. Maybe I just sucked at it. So I just never went back to it. I do remember when I used to travel and I didn't, you know, when I first started out and I'd have to go to conventions, I'd bring ink and I didn't know how, you know, cabin pressure worked really. So I would open up my, you know, suitcase or backpack and see the ink splattered everywhere, and there was times when it just basically destroyed my backpack, you know, the India ink did, and then I'm like trying to be smart about it, so I put it in a Ziploc bag, same thing, and then I bring less ink, and then someone was like, oh, maybe you don't close the cap all the way and then it won't explode, and yeah, I guess for the most part it worked. But traveling and then bringing art supplies was a huge challenge for a while, so I don't miss trying to figure that whole thing out. Luckily, I was smart enough not to put finished pieces next to the ink that I brought along with me. But that's why brush pens, like the Kuretake brushes, were so in the Pentel Pocket, are so awesome because they have little cartridges where you don't have to worry about exploding pens and ink. But then if you wanted to color, you know, with markers, it would smudge, so you had to figure another solution out. And after a while, I got tired of like trying to figure out ink and markers and stuff. Thank you so much, Henrique. Extreme Maybe, what is up? Extreme Maybe 1534. Yeah, and that's the thing. So Kaiser, I think I would ask the person first, maybe, if you guys, you know, or yeah, it's really hard because some people's art is just really good and AI did learn from them. So I really feel like I need like a while just to explain the whole AI thing. And my philosophies on are pretty, what was the word I'm looking for? I wouldn't say it's complex, but I would like to think a little nuanced, because I do it for a living, and I use software and stuff. So for example, you have to kind of define exactly what specific AI is being used in terms of what process they're using. Because if you're using Photoshop, right, and we've been using Photoshop for years, there are certain tools in there that they've always kind of, it's like machine learning in a weird way, but not from you per se, but like the stamp tool is actually, the clone tool, it actually just knows how to calculate what's around you, and then now it's like what's being used is enhanced so that, what am I trying to say here? So that more things can be done via software instead of you having to do it from scratch. For example, when I used to have to stitch 2-page spreads together manually, it was a pain in the butt, and then somehow the software got so good at recognizing patterns and how to stitch it together perfectly that you can't tell that Photoshop did it automatically. So I think if you're more specific with like where you draw the line with AI and what it actually means, you know what I mean? Because a lot of the things we use is kind of like that already. So if you go to Google now and you search something, the AI bot basically spits out something where it's more thoughtful than what Google searches used to be. And then they had to take it from, they aggregate like a post or something. But I think with artists is why we're upset is because it looks like they didn't put any effort into making the art, you know? So I think there's like a little leeway where we just kind of, there's a grace period where let maybe the person who posts their art up maybe at some point post a process video or picture. Some people don't like doing that kind of stuff because they don't want people to see maybe their approach. So it's like, you know, I don't make too much of it because if I don't like the art, then I basically just don't buy it. Even though I'd rather people didn't use it for obvious things, you know, because art is a human creation. So yeah, it's going to take me like a whole entire live stream just to talk about AI and the nuances of it. And you know, I mean, it's like if you guys didn't see me drawing, would you guys think my stuff is AI as well? Because like sometimes my stuff looks one way and sometimes it's just not that good. Sometimes it's a different style. So I try to put myself in that position where it's like if I wasn't showing my process, would I come across as someone who's probably using AI and stuff? So I don't have a perfect answer for that, but I do want to give each artist like their grace in case, you know, it just seems a certain way without any actual way of knowing one way or the other if they do or don't use it. Yeah, I think we all have our like if you know internally and you could verbalize exactly or you could state exactly where you draw the line with using, you know, digital art versus, you know, AI, like where is the line being drawn, so that once you do know that, then when you don't like someone's art or you say that they're, you know, clearly they didn't create most of it, then you'd have like a line and then people would know where that line is. And I think right now everybody's got their line drawn somewhere and it's slightly different, and since it's such a new thing, all these lines have different indications and where people are okay with certain things, you know. And so it's like, just know for yourself as a collector or future artist where your line is drawn, and then when you're creating your own art, you just have to know where the line is, and then where it's just kind of like maybe be aware of like the past like tools that are being used, you know, for example Photoshop and stuff like that. And just that's kind of where I come from, and that's why I don't do certain things, because it's like I have my line and then other people have their line. So I honestly don't think you could cheat your way up to the top, honestly, because there's actually more to art than just the end product. You know what I mean, you guys? You're here watching me draw this. I'm clearly not the best artist out there. But there is really something more to being an artist than in the end product. And even if you look at like expensive art that people buy, and now that I'm seeing John in the, the fine art field, like there's more to it than just what's the finished product, as much as there's like a story behind it, the person who's creating the art and their consistency and their passion behind it. And that's why people invest in art and artists themselves. So that's kind of my assurance, you know what I mean? Like that's why I'm not worried and paranoid about me not ever having a job. So that's just my own take on it. Oh, thank you so much, Henry. I'll take it. Whether everybody agrees with that or not, I appreciate it. I get to do it for a living, so I'm okay right now. Yeah, thank you. Consent is interesting when it comes to machine learning, right, guys? I think we are okay with it when it teaches, like when it's doing, just like bookkeeping, maybe accounting, stuff like that. But I don't think we ever wanted computer or AI or computers to be the one making the art for us, because that was supposed to be a pretty exclusively human thing. So when machine learning gets turned on its side and starts to do things that it's basically a human thing, I can understand why it's not cool. And I think there'll be eventually, if not already, there's going to be software or a way for companies to be able to, as soon as it's generated by AI, either or the royalties will be split. But the thing is, once it's generative art and it's been spit into the software or the AI program over and over again, then it becomes a smaller portion of where it's learning from. So then it's like hard to track it or prove that something was just that person's name in the prompt. If the prompt was like you put one person's name down and then it spits out Ross draws art or something, Ross Nun, then you could easily say, okay, the royalty is gonna go to Ross because clearly you only punched his name in. But if you punched his name plus like 100 other artists, and it's really hard to prove that, you know what I mean? So it's so complex, and that's why it's like I can only control what I do as an artist, and just be stubborn and keep creating art the way I'm doing it right now, because I can't control how things go there, and all I have to do is not support it, right? So could keep you up at night. Thank you so much, Zion. Yeah, tone war for sure. Yeah. You guys are here for me, so Ross draws. I got so many things I want to do, and it takes up a lot of mental space to do all these things, and I want to be happy. So it's like I could only do what I could do, and control what I can control in my own life, and have some level of confidence that I'll be okay, because you have to believe in what you're doing, because if I didn't, man, it'd be hard to be a comic book artist in general. It was hard from the beginning. So I think I used to believe if it was easy, then everybody would do it. I actually believe the opposite now. If it was easy, nobody would want to do it just because it's not special. So you could look at it that way too. So the more people use AI art, the less it's going to be impactful at some point. You guys will see. We humans crave humans creating things, and that's why it's considered art. So, and plus I have too much of an ego to use a computer to help me out with anything. Ideation and stuff like that. Stefan, you especially have been around since day one. So I cannot thank you enough. See, I have confidence because of people like you guys. Of course, I ask myself, like, if I can't draw tomorrow and I run out of, like, nobody wants to hire me or I can't hire myself, what would I be doing for a living? I would probably open a flower shop, a bookstore, obviously film and photography. So, I mean, it's all creative things that I would like to do. Oh, thank you so much, Dancing Dog 60. Thank you for the super chat, and thank you. The G pen is amazing, and I love how your box is like the same, the teal as the G pen. That's awesome. It's my favorite color. Yeah, I think AI is actually going to be a lot. I think it's going to lay off. At some point it's going to plateau or taper off or decline a little bit. Or actually not a little bit, a lot, I think. Because, okay, please don't hate me for saying this. But if you guys do, I totally understand. So for a while, I felt like some of the movies that would come out in theaters, they relied too heavily on blue screen, green screens. And the backgrounds looked super CG where, whether it's the bad guys, or sorry, it's usually bad guys. But, or the characters are like CG, and the backgrounds too like 3D, like looked like 3D renderings. And that wasn't even AI, and I was like not happy with them, didn't care for it, you'd have to use it sparingly, or not make it look so obvious. Whereas if that's the best it could do, where it's just rendering stuff and I know it's fake, it doesn't make me want to watch a movie, it's like if I'm not interested now, I'm not going to be interested later when I know it's not real. So it's like the whole point of watching, let's just say, Top Gun, is knowing that he's in the fighter jet and they're actually flying. That's why it's there's like stakes at, things that you could put your hands on, or wrap your head around, like things that are real. For example, The Revenant with DiCaprio was one of my favorite movies for the longest time. And most of that stuff was real, except for the bear, but understandable. And he was out there in the elements, and that's what made the movie even better, in my opinion. I'm reading your guys' comments about it and see. Yep. And so I hope, I know it's not the perfect response, and I wish it wasn't the case, but you can't, the train has already left that station. So it's really just taking a step back and going, like, is this really going to affect me as a human being that much, and my happiness and stuff? And I honestly don't think so. I think eventually it's going to come to a point where it's like, it's not special anymore. It's almost like cell phone cameras, right? We all have it. We all use it. Not everybody's going to be making like a masterpiece out of it, even though the frame rates and the resolution is just as good as a movie, but a movie looks like a movie. I think it was Tom Cruise who said recently, he's like, a movie, just looks like a movie. There's a way that a movie is not only just filmed, but the way it's shot. Sorry, not shot, but the way it's framed, basically, and the dialogue, the lighting. There's something that, when you put that all together, that's what makes a movie. So even though there's a lot of CG being used in certain things, I don't think it's fully going to take over the craft. Because if you think about the movies that came out that's really popular, you know, Hollywood hits, you could start with Barbie, where they actually built a set on Barbie. So it wasn't like CG. And, you know, of course, Christopher Nolan's known for just building these massive sets. And Spider-Man, the new one, I didn't watch it, but maybe we know Tom Holland could actually, he knows martial arts, so it's not like, you know, it's not like they're using CG the whole time. So maybe that's why the movie was so good, which I haven't seen yet. Have not been to the theater in a while, so. And in fact, I think there's more people who read physical books now than there was a few years ago. So the more CG and AI things go, the more connection we're going to want. So just rest assured, I believe that we're going to be okay in that sense. Yeah, Digger looks really weird. And by the way, favorite director. Oh man, my cameras are dying, guys. Both of them at the same time. Extreme, maybe that's a good point. Let's see. To me, AI is like eating a bunch of candy and it tastes good, but eventually you get sick. Art is like the same thing to me. It's like consuming a wonderful steak dinner, just wonderful. Yeah, Michael White. I think we are all, we have the purse strings. So eventually, if we all just don't buy into it, they can't make, you know, there'll be someone making something better. Like the YouTubers that have these successful movies that just came out recently. I think Obsession was one of them. I forgot what the other one was called off the top of my head. I heard those are really good, and the budgets were very, very small in comparison, and they made basically the same amount of money as a Hollywood film would. So it's reassuring, and especially for me as a YouTuber, it's like maybe I could do it someday, you guys. Once I finish doing everything else. I'm still working on that documentary. Had to put it on hold to get Neo Wonderland done, and I have to put together a team for the next book so that I have a colorist, and I just do some of the pretty stuff, and then we already have the letterist, so, and I need an editor full-time, because I don't want to just, you know, one and done books. I want to actually build a company, so. Anatomy. So there's some pretty great drawing books, but so his name is Michael Hampton. I forgot what his first name is. I actually follow him on YouTube. He's got YouTube videos, and he shows you how to approach anatomy where you don't have to know every muscle. You just have to know the gestures. And then the other one is Drawing with Force, and they have their own YouTube channel as well. I don't know if you guys have the links to those, but if not, I could always post a link after the live stream. But they're drawing, basically, the Force guys at least, they have demos every single, I think, Friday or weekend or something. And you could spend a few hours watching them. It's not about knowing the anatomy exactly as much as it's about gesture, you know, and moving and dynamics. And I need to start practicing that stuff some more. It's been a while. His book is awesome, but if you watch him, he'll show you how to take a photo reference and how to approach the gestures to make it look interesting. And in fact, they also say if you spend too much time studying the basics, you know, you could really, it's not fun, so you start to lose motivation. So I think it's good to mix it in with study versus just sketching for fun. And even if it's not perfect, just kind of drawing things you want, like maybe characters you like or something, and then studying part of the time. What did Reckitt say? I gotta scroll up. Oh yeah, Markiplier. That's the one. Yeah, they all got jealous. But hey, man, we were telling him for a while, like, hey, you guys need to get your ish together if you want us to just go to theaters and watch your movies and not so formulaic, right? Um, so it's Michael Hampton. That was one of the artists, instructors who does great anatomy. And of course, you guys know Proco has an amazing, catalog of not only his instructions but other artists. So those are great places to learn, not just the basics where yours is overkill. Because trust me, I don't know probably half of what the muscle groups are. I don't remember that since like high school. It's the last time I had to like study all the anatomy parts. But just the big muscles. I think that's all you need. And gesture, very important. And maybe how proportions work for you. What is this pen and pencil? Oh, Easy Tiger. This is a Tachikawa G pen, basically nib. So, and I'm using like the black ink from the leader. I'll put my supplies that I'm using, which is pretty simple today, in the description after the live stream. So. Yeah, it's funny. I was talking about AI, and before you know it, most of her armor is ready. Done. Gotta draw the chest, and then these back here. I actually really like how the marks are, or the shapes right here, and that's me using the carpenter pencil. And so that's what I mean by like it makes it so I'm forced to only focus on the basic shapes and not crazy details and stuff. Oh, Stefan, are you leaving? Or bye, Michael White? Oh, well, I'll say bye to Michael White as well, just in case I missed something. Have a good evening, and hopefully see you next week. Thanks for hanging out on a Sunday. Thanks so much, JD. No, I'm actually happy you guys brought up drawing the darkness and Witchblade and stuff, because it's fun because I always wanted to draw them, and then it's been a long time, and also it's good practice right now using the nib, because most of the older Witchblade art was done with a nib via Joe Weems. So I feel like Tachikawa had some of the best inkers in the industry back in the day. I feel a lot more comfortable standing and inking right now. because I'm not like hunched over too much, or my whole entire back is like arched. So it's actually working out. Next time though, I'll put my camera up a little higher so my head isn't cut off at the top. Not like you guys care though. But then you get to see my cool plants that are growing above my bookshelf. I think I'm going to take the brush and just kind of darken this part in so I don't have to ink the whole thing. So a lot of times the pencil will put like an X here, around here, so that the inker will know where all the darkest darks will go. I am left-handed, easy tiger. I've only tried drawing with my right hand a few times in my life, and just in case something ever happens to my left hand and left arm, it's gonna take me a bit of time. But my friend taught me years ago, like there's no such thing as being left-handed, right-handed. It's just the dominant hand is because you used it all the time, and that's why some kids used to be left-handed and they'd make them switch and they're able to do it, which means that you technically can train to use the other arm or other hand. Think about the fact that when you're playing the guitar, you have to use both hands as well, and that's artistic, in my opinion. Well, yeah, it's art. And I don't use a left-handed guitar. I use just a regular guitar. And it seems to work out okay. If only I had more time to practice, I could actually make some music someday. But you have to pick what you spend all your time doing, and playing the guitar is not one of them. I messed up a little bit right here. I'm gonna have to maybe add some shadow underneath. PC Gamer Trev, my inspiration for music. So I have two different playlists. It depends on like how I'm feeling and what I'm drawing. If I'm doing cyberpunk or my comic book, I have a playlist and it's mostly like J-pop, rock, and what is it called? Retro beats. And then if I'm just working and chilling out, I like lo-fi, some jazz and that kind of stuff. Although I will say, it's hard to find really good, YouTube radios right now, because some people are using AI music, and you could tell because the beats sound all like off and funky, and so it's hard to find one that for sure it's actually done by an actual DJ or a human, so the rhythm isn't off. And so I would actually search for playlists that are at least 3 years old, maybe even 5 years, before I actually listen to it. Because I tried once and I'm like, wait a minute, that doesn't sound right. And you could tell it's AI because of the picture they used for the playlist. So Henrik, I actually love 90s music too. So I think I have a dance playlist that has like 90s dance music and whatever was popular during that time. Oops. I wonder if my dog fell asleep. Really extreme, maybe? That's funny. Even if it's dance music and it sounds like electronic, you still have to have a DJ who put that rhythm together. So even that's considered human. See, there's a line that has to be drawn right. Like, where's your line? Is it just I don't like anything like that at all, or as long as the human's the one composing the beats, the music sample, it's still okay. So. Oh, JD, sure, I could check them out. I haven't heard of them. I listen to Blackpink sometimes, and I love Rosie. So I would love to check them out. And I know they're an older band, but Shinhwa was one of my favorites back in the day. I still have a couple of their songs on my playlist. I listen to a lot of J-pop and rock as well, so. Oh, bye, Razor X Sketch. Have a great rest of your weekend. Henrik, guess what game I used to play all the time, you guys? I used to play DDR. I was one of those kids. And so I listened to a lot of that music. Same type of music. It's very, initial D-ish. In fact, I made a few references to it in my comic book. DDR is the best. Yeah, I had to slow the arrows down because, when you do it on fast mode, it goes too quick. And so my friend taught me how to do it, and I was like, okay, I could do this. Not that great, but I'm good enough. I miss arcades. See? That's why we have one in the comic book, you guys. The kids nowadays don't know what they're missing out on. I think mostly in the States, because I'm sure in Japan they still have quite a few arcades. I feel like I'm making pretty good time right now. So maybe it is quicker to ink with a nib, because if I was doing a brush, I don't know if I would have gotten this far, and the amount of detail I got with the nib. So I'm excited. I'm going to try to use this on my comic book. I see what you mean, state of the art. So when I draw pages, and I mean, note to self, right? Like, if I don't know the angle of something, I would just scribble what I had in mind, and then I move on to the thing that I know how to draw for sure, and then I go back and try to find references. And you could even do a little diagram on copy paper or something. Just it makes it easier to kind of picture it, because if you look at my layouts right now, they're pretty sloppy. So I think my dog basically pouted himself to bed. Now he's asleep or something, because he hasn't made a peep in like an hour. Easy Tiger. Yeah, I've seen that. Makes sense. Back in the day, no, not back in the day. I'd say a couple years ago, people would download like Blender or oops, this is ink. Or what's that one other program that was free? It was like 3D. I forgot what it's called. It was like a free software where you rotate the 3D model around, and it's kind of the same thing except now you could prompt to get a reference instead of having to rotate the mannequin or whatever yourself. Because guess what I have to do? When I don't know how to draw something, I have to go to Google and search for an image. It used to be real photos, like Getty Images and stuff. Now it's mostly 3D, AI rendered, and you can kind of tell, and it's just like, I miss it when it was just like real photos, because then it was really accurate. Now it's like, type in, I think it was someone pointing a weapon and back view. It used to be like I would be able to go through and sift through all the photos, and now it's 3D or AI. So it would just be a generic white background and stiff. So even though I got it, just that's why it's good to have a mirror, and I should probably get myself a stand-up mirror. Like I said, just know where your boundaries are with what the AI is doing and what you accept from other people and yourself. And it's kind of just, know that if you didn't like AI at all, you're probably not going to support somebody. And then you'd have to be really careful about what is and isn't AI at some point as well, and how many degrees of AI is it. So that's just my philosophy. Yeah, I think YouTube does that now. Instagram, I know, does it. I think even most of the social networks are starting to put the tag on AI on it. And so when I'm using Photoshop to fix something, I have to be really careful, because if you use the stamp tool or the Band-Aid tool, let's just say I scan in a piece, right? And I try to get rid of all my eraser marks. Okay, so here's the thing. And sometimes there'll be like little specks on the images. If I'm not careful, sometimes it gets onto the scan. So the quickest way to do it so it doesn't look like you use the airbrush tool in Photoshop is the patch tool in Photoshop that does it. But if you, let's just say you post that image up and you use the patch tool and it detects it, it says that it's AI, even though technically you're using the patch tool to get rid of like eraser marks. So I think Peter McKinnon made a good video about that, where people who are using Photoshop, to edit their images, like we've been doing forever in Lightroom, if they use the clone tool to get rid of a blemish, like a pimple or something, if it tags it, that's going to be, it's like, where's the line being drawn? And so that's kind of where I come from as an artist, like being realistic and using Photoshop for almost 30 years now. I think it's about 30 years. Seeing the evolution of the software and, things that are trying to combat fake art and stuff like that. So I don't use AI for reference, but I use like picture and internet models. Use polygon. Yeah, Clip Studio has their own 3D. I think 3D wire models of like like you could buy the mannequins, the mannequins in real life, or you could just use it in the software in Clip Studio. So at the end of the day, I think as a creator, hopefully we get to a point where we know when someone's intentionally trying to deceive versus we all use references to some degree. As long as you're not copying one for one, then I think we're okay with that kind of stuff. So we'll see. I mean, it's still early and we're still developing our philosophy and what we're okay with when it comes to AI and what's the intent behind it, I think I have to have a well-rounded perception of what I find to be okay, or in order for me to be okay with someone else, I have to be okay with or if I'm not okay with something, then I can't do it myself, being a hypocrite and everything. So yeah, it's gonna keep going on. I think it's just having faith, that at the end of the day it's gonna work out. You just have to do what you can. sometimes, I wonder if studios or people use AI as an excuse for layoffs and stuff when maybe it was a bloated company to begin with, and every now and then, and they just find whatever excuse they can. Sometimes it's that, or sometimes it's something else, So maybe they're making movies that no one wanted to watch, and they're like, oh well, we're just gonna replace them anyways. When they could have just made, I guess, better films, and then they would have kept everybody on staff, right? But and then there's also the tax write-off for corporations, where if they write off a loss, and they can get away with certain things. So there's all these things that go into the whole industry in general, and I think that's why everybody's upset. They're like, it's taking away our work, but we don't really know for sure if the studio is doing that because they really think that AI is just going to be able to do everything people can do, and artists, because I don't think it can. So yeah, I mean, that's why, and this is from my own personal experience, it's really good to be aware of where you're building your castle on sand, basically. And I never want to be in that position where the rug could just be pulled from underneath me, because I've been there before, Um, and a lot of artists have. I mean, the nature of being an artist is basically, it's a stereotype. It's the starving artist. I don't think it has to be that way, but it is a stereotype, and it all depends on how you approach it too, your mindset when it comes to art. Because to me, art is just like any other business or work, and so producing art is just part of my job, and so there's no excuse not to do it, even on my not so good days. We do. I would like to think we thrive in chaos. Makes me feel special, even though right now I'm like screaming inside. What the heck am I doing? Oh, we're making good time. I think I might be able to finish this on time. I'm timing myself too, because you kind of have to with this, deadlines, practicing and stuff. Yes, the struggle is good for creative minds. I will say this though: if you're young, you're not as old as I am, even younger than me, the sooner you start your path and your journey to becoming an artist, the better. Because when you're older and you have, let's just say, bills to pay, family, pet dog, your joints don't work as well, you're not going to have time to get better and improve and build on your, not as much time to build on your skill sets and your portfolio. So the sooner you start, the better. And don't be afraid. I mean, people put their art up all the time nowadays, so everybody's doing it. And have fun. I still have fun when I'm drawing and I'm not stressed out. Try to find things that make it interesting, like doing the hair and using different art supplies and drawing different types of characters and making it challenging, so there's always something. Shoot, my dog's asleep. I'm just going to finish this piece. I'm not going to stop at whatever time I normally stop at, which is 3 my time. So I'm just going to keep going until he starts barking. In fact, he deserves a little snack when he wakes up. I have to go buy it for him. He's a good boy. Jarrell, that's awesome. I try to find the little nuances and things that I love about drawing, so that it doesn't feel like, I'm treading water and I get stressed out. Because I think when I draw or I'm working, I have to be calm in order to make things look good. Because if you're stressed out, man, everything looks stiff, and that's just being honest. And I get frustrated, so it's kind of like a vicious cycle. Because it doesn't look good, I'm frustrated, and I'm frustrated because I was stressed out, and I need to not be stressed out in order to draw well. So. Well, I mean, I don't have too much more, Stefan, so I think you'll be okay. And if you fall asleep by the computer, it's okay with me too. Nephilim, I definitely think like a movie scene, and I think it's good to do it that way. But we also have advantages in comic books where we have panels, and we could tell the story. It is a little different, how you how your, what do you call it, the panels look, the panel borders and stuff. That's what's cool about comic books versus movies where it's one consistent size. So the composition also makes it interesting. But yeah, I try to think like a movie for the most part. I think a lot of artists do. We use the same verbiage for angles and stuff too, and what type of shots, and also the term acting for the characters, which I wasn't used to at first. I was like, that sounds weird, but yeah, it's character acting in a comic book as well. Thank you so much, Henrik. Yeah, I know, Stefan. You've come too far. You gotta stay up later. Aw, Stefan. I'm gonna keep drawing, and then if you want to come back and watch it later, I'm not gonna force you to stay up to watch me draw some more. I mean, I'd like to speed it up, but then that wouldn't be not good, would it? You want a nice looking piece, don't you? Let's get to the back, and then we'll add the shadows, and I think we're good. So let's make haste. I want to get kind of creative with this and make it look like it's kind of this receding in the background, sort of. So the trick to that is breaking up the lines a little bit. So. Oh, awesome. Yeah, it looks amazing. I wouldn't doubt that it's a good um, new series for the Darkness and Witchblade, because there's plenty of people reading it. So. I like how fluid these lines turned out. Um, that's good for me because then I don't have to tighten my pencils too much. Yeah, Henrik Witchblade definitely caught my eye. And at first, when I saw the first drawing of her, I didn't care for it. I think it was an older one with Mark Silvestri drew of her. She had like a purple cape or a red cape maybe, I don't remember, but she was in a cave or something, and I didn't care for it because she looked like a bad guy. But then when I saw the comic book itself, it turned out she was not the bad guy. So then I was like, okay, that makes the story more interesting because, you know, there's so many stereotypes with characters looking a certain way when they're a good guy versus a bad guy. Because I was still into my like X-Men superhero. I was still doing that whole thing back then. And then I saw like, you know, of course, Wildcats. I'm trying to figure out what to do with our armor shoulder pad. I don't like how that looks. And I don't want it to be too abrupt, so I want it to be an interesting shape. Let's pull out the trusty carpenter pencil. Did she really? Because I don't remember. I just know that I saw Robbie. That I saw her in like I think it was a swimsuit issue of some sort. It was like Image, so there was like Wildcats and stuff, and I think there was one pinup. So back then I was like, I kind of fell off of reading comic books for a couple of years. I was mostly doing video games at the time, so I wasn't sure, you know, like what type of comics are out, and then I realized like, yeah, you're right, they were like edgier during that time. Uh, Maybe Stefan. I'll try to find the image. Of course, I thought it was beautiful, but I thought she was a bad guy. You know, when I saw the image, I wasn't sure at the time. I wonder if I have the Sideblade She variant, or not variant, but the comic itself. I don't remember if I had it because I know I really wanted that comic, but. Okay, what was I doing? Oh yeah. Um. You know, I do remember now. Just right off, for some reason, I thought about this. I wish I had the comic with me, or maybe I do. It was the Michael Turner Witchblade Fathom crossover cover, and the way he drew Sara on the cover was amazing. That armor was like, the way he did the armor was my favorite rendition of the armor. You guys know which one I'm talking about. It's like the connecting cover. And yeah, that was like one of the better Witchblade drawings that I can remember. In terms of armor, her face and everything, and the way it was inked and colored was amazing. Yes, state of the art. Try that technique, you know, coming back once you've, you know, gotten all the other stuff out of the way, and then, you know, you have more time to go back and try to perfect everything. So, yeah, let's see, what was I going to do? Oh, yeah, let's do the whiteout really quick. It's bothering me. The mistake that I made. And even some of the interior pages with Sara, amazing. That's like one of my favorite comics, honestly. I thought I brought it with me, but I'm pretty sure I have it. There's no way I would leave it behind. I just gotta find it now. There, I feel better. Oh, sweet, Stefan. Cool. Yeah, I'll actually Google that and I'll get the actual picture I'm talking about. But yeah, that was an awesome cover. The side blade. She cover that of the faces, so pretty. So I'm just gonna add some shadows here and there with the brush. Long box bandit. Hello. Art of Roy. Sweet. Yeah, I loved She's design back in the day. I think I've done a couple of she drawings. been a minute. I did a couple of sketch covers. Oh yeah, and I have it's one of my commissions this time around is also Lady Death, so I get to draw Lady Death. Actually, never mind. I can't draw it online because I might be flagged. It's, you know, I don't think it's a big deal, but I don't know how YouTube works. Because it might be like a lingerie version of Lady Death, so. This is gonna need white out as well. I gotta frame her face carefully right here. Squint. So squint my eyes to see the basic shapes. Try to form like a nice flowy movement with the shadows. Uh, 11 by 14, I could make it 1-to-1. Henry, thank you. I should be faster though because my livelihood depends on it. I want to do ink splatter on this one too. I might even just jump ahead and do the ink splatter and come back to do all this other stuff. You know, give it a little punch. think the ink splatter on Jackie was it black or is it white? So we'll fix this later. I gotta patch this up right here. Come back and fix the shape. But for now, let's finish up her hair, I think. So right here. Hello, we are having a pretty decent day. Austin, I'm an art school dropout. I barely made it through like 2 semesters, and but I went to school for digital design, had drawing classes. So I guess you could consider that art school in a weird way. Yes, JD. Yeah, I can't pronounce it, but I say hello too. Andy Park, maybe? JD? And then Alvin Lee moved away from comics. Some people come back. I think some people are going to make a comeback. Oh, Micah. I miss Micah. I tried getting a job as an assistant animator or a storyboard artist with Micah, but I didn't try that hard. I was like, I'm interested. And then I was like working on something else. I'm so happy for Micah though. Such a great artist. I'm purposely making Stefan stay up later by drawing slower and inking everything. Richard, advice for aspiring comic book artist. Draw a lot, learn to do the not so fun things like backgrounds and stuff and how to tell a story, and to put your work out there online. And if you can go to a convention and show your stuff to an editor, you should do that too. And sometimes you could actually email the editor as well. They have it on their official site or their Instagram and stuff like that. And, just try as many different ways to show your storytelling abilities as possible and contact them. You could even do like a test script, they have scripts you could download online and try to tell it with your art. That's how I would do it. It's not that different than how we used to do it. I feel like nowadays it's actually easier, even though the industry is a little different, to get a job online. You probably have a better chance than you used to. So that's my quick, advice. But if you have anything very specific you wanted to know, I could try to answer that. Yeah, should probably switch back to the, what do you call it? Nib. Oh, sure. By up, do you mean down now? Because it's upside down. What was I going to ink? Oh, yeah, that's right. I was trying to thicken the lines on her, the blade. Thank you. Do you think creating my own comic first to learn and build a portfolio is time well spent? I think so. I mean, Richard, this is kind of like Neo Wonderland. While I was drawing other characters, you know, like Witchblade. Oh, man, cameras are dying. I was also drawing my own comic, and in fact, for my college final, I created my first black and white comic book. I think it was like 12 pages long, and that was my own character and stuff because I felt like drawing my own character and stories instead of something else that I couldn't use, you know, couldn't publish later on. So yeah, I did my own comic book before I approached a publisher to do any of their stuff. But you know, of course, I was drawing fan art at the time. So. In fact, you know what? I just thought of something. So, also to Richard, if you are more inspired to draw your own characters and you draw your best while you're doing your own characters in a story, and you're practicing that way, I think editors appreciate that. But if you're, you know, if you're motivated by, like, just say Spider-Man or, you know, Batman, then do that as well. You know, or do that if it motivates you to improve and get better. So whatever gets you to draw a lot and improve quicker, you know, and you're motivated and enthusiastic, I would say go that route. So yeah, it's never a waste of time. Thank you so much, Contrast and Hues. I am outlasting you guys today. You're all going to drop off one at a time. Ah, yep. Sleepy doggy is good. Good doggy. Although I think my stomach might give in before and I might get hungry. So I don't know if I can handle that. Every time I talk to you guys, I always think about pizza. Because every stream I'm like, hey, you know what kind of pizza I really want to eat right now? Or what I want to eat is pizza. I think the pizza parlor is closed today, though. Maybe one of them's open. I shouldn't have said that. Now I'm getting hungry. Dang it. Make my own pizza. I know I should, but if I'm gonna make pizza, I would might as well just draw and make and get my work done, and you know, do the whole college thing and just eat ramen. Top ramen. I can't do that though. I'm supposed to like take care of my health right now, so I had to go get some nutritious food when I get the chance. Question is it hard to create a digital book about your art and your process? Like you mean like something you could download, my art, or do you mean just your own art in general, in terms of like digital art book? It can be hard if you actually start writing stuff and it's not just pictures, because there's not just, I guess, outside of just using the tools, there's like a reason for a certain approach, I guess, and that might take longer to do, because I have to do that right now for my own Kickstarter. So the images is the easy part. The hard part is making it worth your while if you're looking at something, to try to make it make sense, and why use a certain approach and not another one, you know. I'm also going to have a documentary, which outside of just, you know, the process, I'm going to talk about the mental and emotional state of drawing and making a comic book with deadlines. Your own? It shouldn't be hard at all, actually. If you have like just I don't know if you have a Mac or PC, but just a regular word processor works, and then you could just, they have PageMaker, there's InDesign by Adobe. You could just pay for a subscription, get your book done, and then, you know, submit it. And you could publish it through Amazon, you know, KDP and stuff like that. So, and on your website. So it shouldn't be too hard. I think it's actually easier to do it that way before you get it printed and stuff. What work did I do that I'm most proud of, Henrik? Right now, I'm going to say my own comic book. All 44 pages plus the ash can, which is 12 pages. Most proud of that right now. I did the writing, you know, pencil, inking, and coloring. So that's what I'm most proud of right now. I better say that right. Not like, oh, something I did 20 years ago, 15 years ago. That wouldn't be good. No, my comic book right now. I think I'm most proud of that. Just get some white out. I don't know why this is such a problem for me. You have a Mac? Okay, so Page, I think it's called, is it called Page? Called, you know, it's like Pages or something like that. They have templates for making books in the software, and it comes with your computer, or it comes with your Mac. So you should have that software, and that would work just as well to make a digital book. Let's do this part again. Sorry, guys. Okay, so while this is drying, I'm going to erase some of these parts so we can see what it looks like. And then we should be done. I really want to ink her dress black, even though it's not black, but you know, it's grayscale, so it's technically red and shiny, sort of shiny. Like a silk dress or something. Thanks so much, JD. This was so much fun, you guys. I was actually looking forward to inking this for a few days now. I think this is probably going to be one of my longest live streams, if I'm correct. Yeah. Yeah, my puppy deserves a little snack for being a good boy. Well, I don't think he's intentionally a good boy, as much as he was so bored he fell asleep. So I think next week I could show you guys the completed inks for this and the darkness, so we could see them side by side, and you know, move on to the next thing. Probably work on a commission or something next week. I will let you know what character it's gonna be. when the time comes. Actually, you know what? Let me show you what I do that's fun. So I erase. I usually erase and I don't like wipe any of the eraser marks off. And then take a little drafting table brush and just brush all the pencils marks. I try not to over snack him. Oh, I know, trust me. The last thing I want to do is to have a spoiled dog who doesn't respond to anything but snacks. And he's already pretty spoiled because he's cute, and then John likes to treat him like a baby. So, but the puppy trainer is going to be here next week, so she's supposed to be the best in town. Speaking of John, guess who just walked through the door? John. Oh my God, as soon as John walked through the door, you could hear Bear wake up and shake his collar like, I'm here. Come play with me. So much for that idea. He doesn't need a snack now. Oh my God, I could hear him. He's probably gonna start complaining to John like, she left me in here for 3 hours by myself. I had to play with the chew toy by myself. Thanks so much, Chrome Vortex. Okay, I'm gonna be bold, you guys, bold. Let me get the comic book and man, keep moving my books around like this. Trying to find Witchblade here. Give me 2 seconds. No. Oh, here we go. Okay, so I'm gonna shade her dress, I think, so that it pops more. You know, I want a little more contrast. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna use a flat brush for this part, I think. Oh boy, oh my gosh, look who's awake. As soon as you came in, he woke up because he got bored because I wouldn't play with him. And then he, Hey, Barrister. My little cutie pie. You smell nice. You were a good boy. You were asleep for 3 hours. Eventually. He's got my hair. He's got my hair. Thank you so much, Robert. It's funny. Fantasy football season's about to start up, and John and Frank are already starting to talk smack, or at least Frank is starting first. John hasn't quite started talking smack yet, and Vince is gonna join in eventually. Have a good one, Michael Richardson. You take care. Thank you for hanging out with us for 3 hours. It's gonna be 3 hours. I don't like this brush. Not working so well. For what I'm trying to do, let's get a bigger brush. He's starting to act like a real bear right now. He's getting bitey. Or a land shark. That's what we call him. Land shark. Oh, man, none of these brushes are holding on to the ink like I want. Oh, what a cutie pie. Oh, he's happy you're back.
That lady.
So he can make out with you again. If I had screen tones, I would actually use screen tones right now. Maybe I do have some. I could put it on some areas and make it look more interesting. I better call this done for now, because I want Stefan to get some sleep before work. So he's like, 5 hours of sleep is good enough. Well, if I keep inking, Stefan, you're not going to get any sleep. So I don't want you to fall asleep at work. I actually recently drove a golf cart a few weeks ago, and I actually think it's fun. So I would actually get into golf just so I could drive the golf cart. It looks relaxing though and fun. So maybe at some point I'll do it. Hello, Foxglove Fairy P4W. Thanks real much for joining us. I'm about done-ish for now, I think. For now, and I want to take a step back, look at everything, maybe, you know, add or subtract a few things. Just give myself some time. And then next week you guys can see the completed Darkness and Witchblade together. Because I'm pretty sure I have a little bit more time next week after I release my book. So, all right, let's put it right here so I could have a thumbnail maybe. Thank you guys so much. Yeah, black makes everything pop. So, and I could probably do a bit more, but I'm not like being too analytical right now. I'm just kind of going with the flow. But I know if I took a step back, I'd probably make a few adjustments and add a few more darker areas. Yeah, it's easy to go overboard with Witchblade because she's got such detailed armor. Okay. And I stood up for 3 hours straight. I don't know if I can work out now though. I was supposed to work at a 4:30. Maybe do it sooner. Maybe today's not leg day. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. This was fun. And indulging my usage of my nib, which I love. All right, you guys, I'm going to scroll up and say bye to everybody after I clean my brushes. Hope you guys have a great rest of your weekend. And I will hopefully be emailing you guys who backed the Kickstarter sometime this week, maybe sooner than later. Just got to get one more approval from Frank. And then we're good to go. We have everything else. And I have to put everybody's name on the thank you page, which I downloaded. So that's going to be fun. I'm going to get emotional when I see that. Like, oh, I've been waiting years to do this. And I added 2 extra pages to the extra content because A, it took me so long to get the book done, and B, because I have so much stuff. So you guys get 2 extra pages on top of the pages I promised on the Kickstarter of extra content in the back. So, oh, you're welcome. You should thank Bear for sleeping longer, for the longer live stream, PC Gamer Trev. And then John came home and he's awake now, so. If he would have kept sleeping, I might have gone another, 15 minutes. Alrighty, you guys. Let me scroll up to say bye to everybody. Just gotta clean this up so that I'm ready to do my next thing, which is pencils today. So. Am I looking forward to it? Yes, Robbie, because I feel like I could streamline my process now with the next Kickstarter. Plus, that's, the story is going to rev up in the next couple of issues, and because the first one was an introduction basically for the most part to the characters, and I've had them in my mind for like over 20 years, so it only made sense to like just keep as much of it the same as possible. And then the second half of the book is when all, you know, ish hits the fan. So Richard, as soon as everybody from the Kickstarter gets their copies, whatever copies are left over, it's going to be on my online store at siaomshop.com, so you can pick it up there. And then as soon as we collect 6 issues, and it's going to be in stores. So I'm, you know, trying to pace everything. You guys come first because you are patient and you did this for me. So you guys are my first investors, basically. Thank you so much, Richard Willis. Thank you so much, Robbie. I hope it looks as good as you think it does. I have, like, you know, I showed the sneak peek of it a few days ago, and that's actually all the pages except for the last page because of spoilers, even though it's super tiny, but that's all the lettered pages, with a few mistakes, I think, with the lettering, and that was on me. The dialogue was a little repetitive. So alrighty, so have a good night. Stefan, JD, Dream Static, Foxglove Fairy P4W, Robbie Digital, Michael Richardson, I think you're still there, Chrome Vortex, Robert Nilo, Did I say Richard already? I think Arthur was here earlier. Digital 001. Kirk's Pencils 9302. Awesome. PC Gamer Trev. I like saying your guys' name. I'm trying to get really good at saying it fast. Contrast and Hues. Kind of like the Micro Machine. Remember those little cars? And the guy would talk really fast when he's introducing the cars. I want to get really good at saying that. Or talking like that. And the person's name I cannot pronounce. I comments a few years, realized I kind of stunning my growth with the infinite undo and zoom and transform. Yeah, I just saw your message. Okay, yeah, I totally get it. That's why I went back into doing traditional art instead of just digital, because I felt like I was endlessly correcting and fixing things, which some people are really good at, not doing that as much, but I just, like tactile supplies and art, so that's why I like to do as much traditional as possible. JD, I like saying the names with the numbers. That's why I do it. Like state of the art 7641. Stephanie Gross 4502. Richard Willis 7768. Okay, I'm having too much fun. Love me some Micro Machines. And it's not the real thing. Is that what he says at the end? Or is it like the real thing? I don't know. All right, you guys. Well, have a good rest of your weekend. So I will see you guys next week. Bye. Bye.